What's up, guys? Welcome to A Reseller's Life. My name is Chris. Thank you so much for joining me. I go by Daily Refinement online. Today, I want to talk about two battles that every single reseller has to go through in order to get to their goal. Your goal might be earning an extra $1,000 a month. It might be earning a full-time living, whatever it is. There's still two battles that everybody has to work with. The first battle is cash flow. You've got to get that cash in your business, and how you do that is by flipping for a large amount of profit. That's the easiest way to get it in. Meaning if you just bought something for $1, sold it for 100 over and over again, your bankroll would grow really quick. Now, the issue with that is always supply. People who have a high ASP or average sale price of $7,500, $200, $500, their problem is always looking for that particular item over and over again, because usually items aren't that cheap. You might find them at a garage sale or a flea market or an estate sale, or maybe the person selling it doesn't understand what they have. That differential in knowledge is what's going to create that massive difference in price, and then you capitalize on that. But as the lower you go in average selling price, the easier it is to find goods. And that's why there are so many businesses built on small margins versus these massive home runs. There's more people who succeed with a $10 to $30 average selling price and a large amount of capital than people with a small amount of capital trying to desperately look for these really high margin items. So what I'm going to show you guys today is how to do the balance between both. One, finding items that are relatively cheap and flipping those on a consistent basis. I'm going to say you should aim for 35 items a week minimum. That's 5 items a day. That's very consistent. That's something that you should do as soon as you wake up. In my opinion, do it first thing, get it out of the way. The rest of the day will seem super easy if you get those 5 out of the way. If you're a seasoned picker, that might be $20 or $30 profit each. If you're just getting started, just get into that habit of listing 5 items per day and get really picky on what you're selling. Because once you start doing this for half a year, 2 years, finding items that are $10 or $20 profit won't be too difficult if you just focus on a few niches, right? So that's battle number one, getting that initial cash flow to go. If you are building a business, I still recommend you get a business, you get business cash flow going into your company by just focusing on 3 categories. I always say you can get 3 categories to $100 a day profit. There's your 6-figure income. If you can do that consistently, then you have $100K coming in, while you can work on the second battle, which is the scalable part, which is building something that's replenishable or reorderable. And that's the model that Scott Volker talks about on the Amazing Seller podcast, which is where I got that idea. 10 items that sell 10 times a day for $10 profit is a $1,000 lifetime goal. So for me, I do have one product that sells every single day. And I have about 7 other products that I'm working on that are in different stages of development. One of them is just in literally drawing mode. Once I figure out all the things that I wanted to do, I'm going to have somebody else tool it, design it, and get it made for me. Some of them are already being tested. I'm doing some A/B marketing. On my bucket list is to have a product that I can spend $1 in marketing and make back $2 in profit. I really want something that does that. I've never done that before. I know how to find something that's cheap and sell for a lot. That's a different game though. That's a game that requires me to constantly hustle, and I'd rather not hustle the rest of my life. I don't want to list every day forever. I know people like to talk about that with eBay, list, but I personally don't want to list every day forever. I want to just list a few things that sell over and over and over again. I was just speaking to my friend Prince about a store that sells 1,700 items a month, and they have 7 listings. Okay, that's this kind of store that I want. I'm actually copying that store for one of the items. I may or may not go over that on YouTube with you guys, because I think that one's a home run. So sharing it will make it into not even a base hit, meaning so many people will copy it that market will go away. But that being said, that's a project. I have 4 different project ideas for you guys, but I want you to maintain the first battle, which is maintaining that cash flow with consistent listing. You have to have at least 35 items going into your store every single week. According to my model, this is not, my channel is not the boss of you. You can do whatever you want. This is just my recommendation from doing this for a long time. Have a basic cash flow store while you work on specific projects like 10 by 10 by 10, or something even more fulfilling is handmade. when I was doing the research for an Etsy shop, I watched the intro by Etsy on the website Skillshare, which is a sponsor of this show. And there's something about owning your own store and selling your own wares that's really special. So my brother got me a pocket knife for my birthday. It has my initials on it. I really like it. I use it all the time. And the person that makes those just orders the blanks, and then they engrave people's initials on it. So it's not quite a replenishable, meaning they're not exactly the same, but it's also harder for people to copy you because they have to have the laser engraving tool and the blank in order to produce that product. So it reduces your competition because people have to buy the machine. Also, if you're really good at woodworking and engraving, yours are going to look different than other people who are doing that same service. The handmade category, the maker community is awesome. And that community is kind of lacking the business side of it, which is like, how do you turn that into a full-time income? So I'm going to try to do something to help that. Myself, I'm still trying to learn how people actually do that part. Finding other people's stuff that they've already made makes more sense to me because somebody else did all the hard work in making that product popular. In the handmade category, you have to make it popular, right? So it requires the creative end and the business end. I wouldn't recommend you do the handmade category unless you have a little more capital or you have a really low cost of living, because it can take a while for that to gain any traction. That being said, if you get to the point where you are a wedding flipper and you have engraved gifts for men, groomsmen, bridesmaids, you have gifts for those are called wedding favors, where they give people things at the wedding. You have a full-on business with all these customizable things. Sure, that might be a fantastic living, but it's not something that happens overnight. It takes a while. If you need quick money now, flip stuff that people have already done the marketing for. You don't need to learn how to make Nintendo popular. It's already very popular. Okay. The third version of the second battle is wholesale. This is a project where you cast out a huge net of inquiries. Hey, how do you, what's the process for opening a wholesale relationship with you guys? Do you sell to online retailers? Over and over and over again until somebody bites, gives you a chance. That is a project that does not earn you immediate money. That's why so many people don't do it. When I look at all these stores and do the reviews, I see so many people who have to find every single item in their store, and that's brutal. Being able to outsource some of that to other people, they bring you the product, then you basically can scale a little bit and it's not as exhausting. You don't have to list every single day for the rest of your life. You can find stuff that just is the same thing over and over again. The last thing is liquidation, closeouts, auctions. In my opinion, this is scalable because you can buy in bulk relatively consistently. If you went to the auction every single week, you'd be able to find goods, and then you could turn that into a business. That's perfectly legit, but again, it's not instant. You've got to spend some time building out some systems. You have to have storage. You have to have a way to prep the items, clean them, get them ready. That's not an overnight process. If you're looking for overnight process, this is what I recommend for you guys. Really, really popular products that are also on trend. Okay, so Sorel boots, very, very popular, not on trend right now. It's hot outside. Okay, during the winter, they're going to be on trend and popular. So if you are desperate for cash or have only a small amount of capital to work for, that should be the only category you sell in. Really fast sell through, meaning it sells quickly, and really high margin, or even not really high margin, but just like I'd say at least 20% return on your money quickly. If you're going to find stuff that's literally selling like hotcakes right now, that is going to take up a big chunk of your time, but that's what you have to do in the beginning if you have a small amount of capital. You can't buy random stuff when you're just getting started if you only have a small amount of money. That's a huge mistake that a lot of beginners make. So as you grow, make sure to balance two things. One, continuous cash flow into your store, at least 5 items a day. Again, my channel is not the boss of you, okay? This is not gospel. It's just my opinions. I think that if you have constant cash coming into your business, then you can take your time and work on the other stuff, make sure it's high quality, build a good foundation, then stuff that you make in the future can continuously resell. Another example I'll give you is I just got married, so thank you everyone for the wedding wishes. That's why I took a couple of days off to just reflect on that. And in the wedding business, almost everything is replenishable. You have the photo booth people that come in and do it, the photographer, you have videographers, you have caterers, you have the people who make all the gifts, you have dressmakers, you have suit makers. Everything is just the same product over and over and over again, and millions of people get married every single year. So really hot niche. And if you add the word wedding to the keyword, you can charge 2, 3, 4 times as much. In many of the cases for the things that we did for our wedding, since it was DIY, it was cheaper to buy it and throw it away than rent it. And in our case, since I'm a reseller, I could buy it and then flip it again. So some of the stuff I actually earned a profit on in our store, so in our wedding. So pretty cool. You can offset a lot of the costs of anything if you know how to resell it back on eBay. And if you look on Craigslist and you look on OfferUp or Facebook Marketplace, you can see what's popular, because people are getting almost the same as brand new for something that they used for one day. Those are the best products to resell, because you're looking about, spending $80 for all these fancy table numbers on a desk, or someone selling it for $55 locally, same exact ones. So hopefully this is useful, guys. If you enjoy this content, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys daily from here on out. Take care. Love life, live it like we appreciate it. Think smart, drink smarter, play hard.